What's up, YouTube? I know I haven't done an update on the Wraith in quite some time. I've been working way too much on the SCX10, but I have an update for the Wraith that I'm going to do tonight. That is, it's going to be fun. It's going to make the Wraith look cool and open up the door for a ton of other mods later. Basically, what I'm going to be doing tonight is taking this back cage completely out. I'm talking cutting here, cutting here, cutting here, cutting here, here, there, and there, taking this whole cage piece off. And then what I'm going to be doing is replacing it with two lower links, factory lower links from a Wraith. So we're going to have that kind of look. It's going to be on either side, so here and here. So, and then obviously you can see there are no shocks underneath the Wraith either, so. And yeah, you know, if I could get that kind of crazy flex all the time, that would be pretty sick, but not going to happen. You got to have shocks on there for something. So here is factory axial Wraith shock. Of course, I've got the preload set way down because I had a lot of weight on it before. But what we're going to be putting on there tonight is quite a bit larger. Bam. So these are 145 millimeters, so completely compressed. They are as long as a stock axial shock. And then of course fully extended, much bigger. So, and if you're kind of wondering what these are the HPI off of an E-Savage 98 to 145 millimeter shocks. They were kind of pricey, as you can see there. Got those at Hobbytown, USA, here in Georgia, $47.99. So yeah, I'm going to be putting these bad boys on there tonight. The back's going to be pretty easy. It's going to mount, sorry, camera angles, doing this one-handed. It's going to be mounting right there. And then with the fully extended, it's going to mount to that lower link. So it's going to look something like that. And then on the front, this is the fun part of how I'm not sure. It's going to go up in here and come back that way. Something like that. So should prove for some pretty crazy flex. So stay tuned, and I'll just keep updating this video as I go along with a little bit of progress. Kind of hard to cut and do everything else while I'm recording, so you just have to pause, and we'll be right back. Alright, back with a quick update. As you can see, cage cut out. Just use the old trusty dikes here to cut it out. And of course it's not perfect. So we're going to be using the Dremel, come in here, clean up some of these ends to make it look nice and smooth again. And then we'll get busy with the next cuts, which you may can see I've kind of already pre-marked there, 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 and there, because that should be exactly wide enough for that right there. Just to give you an idea. Pretty cool. Just wanted to give you a quick update of kind of what the side view looks like now. It's going to be more of a slant back Wraith now. And with the new shocks, it's going to look sick. Stay tuned. Alright folks, back with another quick update. After I got everything kind of cut away from the rear cage here, I'll try to get in here and zoom. This was a mount. This was a mount. There was a mount here and here. And then of course these mounts, this one's still a little rough. I'm going to do a little cleaning on that one. This one turned out excellent. I wish you would zoom in. Still not wanting to get it. Now it's got it. Nice clean edges on that one, and the clean edges here where this had a triple piece here. Just cleaned it right up with a Dremel tool. I'm about to go in now. I've already removed the screw here and the screw here. So I'm about to be cutting this piece, and then installing the lower link, and I'll be right back. Alright, we are back, and the cage mod is completed at this point. You can kind of see it's got a pretty cool look to it. kind of lays back. Just very simple, 2 lower links. They fit perfectly. Turn it up, you can see where we made the cuts. It bolts right in. Cuts and bolts right in. The only thing that I ran into that I had to do is I took the ball ends that are inside there. Take, for instance, this piece. If I can get it to zoom in on that piece, there we go. See how it has a flange on this side and no flange on this side? Basically, I had to make it so that this end goes inside here, because the factory pieces that you cut off of your links are going to look like that. So it sits in there like that. So what you have to do is make it so that this ball end fits in that way, and then the flat piece goes right there, and then your other end, of course, the same way. It's very simple. Just pop these out, flip it over, pop it back in, you're good to go. But that is the frame mod so far. We still have to put shocks on this bad boy, and as I stated, it's going to be these monsters. So, alright, we are back. Just finished up mounting up the 2 rear axle, or rear shocks rather, to the new setup here, and quite impressed with the amount of flex. There's straight droop. They're sitting pretty stock. Lots of travel. Still, of course, now there's nothing in the front, so yeah, it's going to be ridiculous flex right now. But overall, I think after I get some different color springs on there, I think it's going to look pretty badass. Try to spin it around so you can kind of see the whole thing here. Bounce back in the stock areas. Don't mind the long screw on the right, just a test fit. And that Valenion system, that was a test fit too, that's not staying. So, lots of things happening with the Wraith. And it just, man, I'm talking millimeters clears that, so. Pretty badass little setup right there. Back up and give you a good look at how long those friggin' shocks are. So, very impressed. I'm going to try to find a way to get the fronts in there, then I'll be back. Alright, last and final part of the Wraith mod for the night. Of course, recap here, we chopped off the back roll cage right here. So it did look like that. That's now gone. Used 2 lower axial links and modded the top frame there, top and bottom here, to make that mount. Of course, that's going to get replaced with a bolt that actually fits like that one, but like I said, this is just temporary. Mounted up some humongous 145 millimeter shocks from HPI. No real major modifications to get that to fit. However, on the front, you can see those bad boys on the front. They point straight back. So what had to be done, of course it mounts standard there, but if you look up in here, see if I can get, there we go. What had to be done is I had to trim this bar here. I cut out the center links. So there was a link that came down here and a link that came down here. I just dremeled that off, smoothed it out, and then cut a section of that pipe. 2 small little black grub pieces to go right there, and a longer screw to go all the way through to here. I did have to re-drill this side though, this side and this side, because the original holes maybe only go about that deep. But yeah, front shocks are now installed. Lay the hood back down and take a look at it from here. Zoom in. Bingo. Axial Wraith, crazy flex. The one real complaint that I have is no real front travel. So these shocks are not going to stay mounted there. I'm going to find a different place to put them to where they're actually a little more functional, because I have no front travel. The front flex, no problem. Rear flex,